Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and just give about another 2 minutes or so for any last minute or late joiners this afternoon. So if everyone can just sit tight, we'll go ahead and get started in about 3 minutes or so. We're really excited to have you here and dive into this exciting topic today. Okay, well, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So, hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Elise Pagnini, and I'm the Product Marketing Manager at Revolution EHR. And I'm so glad you're here with us today to talk about a topic that truly just kind of confuses a lot of practice owners, and that is SEO. We all know how important it is to attract new patients, but in today's digital world, that starts with your online presence. So, if your practice isn't showing up in local searches, you could be missing out on dozens or even hundreds of potential patients. And that's why I'm thrilled to be joined today by Riley Jacobs. He is an account executive at Inception Online Marketing, one of our trusted partners here at Rev. And Riley works with practices every day to help them boost their rankings, build their digital footprint, and turn website traffic into real patient growth. So, whether SEO is brand new to you or you're just looking to sharpen your strategy, don't worry because you're in the right place. Throughout today's session, Riley is going to break down everything you need to know. No jargon, no fluff, just practical, actionable tips to help you rise to the top of search results. We also want to hear from you. So please go ahead and drop your questions into the chat at any time, and we'll get to as many as we can during the live Q&A session at the end. We also have two exclusive offers just for today's attendees, so make sure that you stick around for the full webinar to get all the details before we close things out today. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. Riley, I'm going to hand things over to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that great introduction. I really appreciate it. Super excited to be here, guys. Like I said, I talk to practices every day. SEO is something that is daunting for offices. Not a lot of people know what SEO is. It seems a lot technical, so I'm really excited to break this down into super understandable key points. A little bit more about Inception. So we're a sister company to Revolution EHR, and we're focused on patient acquisition. Nowadays, every patient, every potential patient, they're going to go online and they're going to go to Google. So it's going to be a really great avenue to increase production and making sure patients in your area, when they're doing a relevant search, are able to find you. So really excited just for this opportunity to share some info with you guys today. And let's jump right into it. The main points we're going to go over today is going to be the keys to driving acquisition. Like I said, Google is going to be one of the main avenues to really drive patient acquisition. So I really want to give you guys some of those key pointers. We're going to be going over on-site versus off-site SEO. On-site SEO is going to be focused on SEO that is a part of the website. So that's going to be the pages, the headers, the footers that are apparent on your website. Off-site SEO is more so focused on backlinking, making sure that your website's attached to different articles. So we'll go over to those really in depth today. We'll also talk about optimizing your site for engagement. Once a patient finds your website, we don't want them just to go on your site for 5 seconds and leave. We really want to capture the attention of your potential patients so they learn about the office, the doctor, what makes you guys special, so we're able to convert that into a new patient. We're also going to talk about standing out in local searches. Most practices nowadays are going to have a website, So when someone does an optometrist near me search, there's going to be a few different options in their local search queue. We want to make sure that your listing stands out so that we can attract those patients. We can get them to click on your website so they have the opportunity to find your website and your services. And then lastly, we'll talk about turning your visitors into loyal patients. So this is going to be more so full circle, making sure that we're using all these strategies in tandem so that every visitor that goes onto your website, it's a high chance that they turn into a patient and a returning patient as well. Before we get started, we're going to do a poll question just to gauge the energy in the room. How confident are you guys in your current SEO strategies for attracting new patients? So we'd love to hear from you guys and just your guys' current understanding of SEO.
And the poll should just pop up right there on your screen. So just go ahead and make your selection. And once you hit submit, it will disappear for you guys. It looks like we have a lot of responses coming in, a bit of a mixed group here in terms of confidence. We have about 34% are not feeling very confident at all, while only 14% are feeling very confident in their current strategy. So, Riley, I think you're going to have a lot of really great insights for everybody here today.
Awesome, super exciting. Yeah, so whether you're very confident, somewhat confident, not very confident, you don't have an SEO strategy, I think there's something in here for everyone. So super excited to jump right in. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat as I go through as well. So we can go to the next slide. So really want to start off with on-site SEO. Before I jump into that, I really want to get into what is SEO. I'm sure you guys hear this term get thrown around a lot nowadays. Everyone's talking about SEO, SEO, SEO. What does that even mean? So SEO is going to be search engine optimization. What this means is it directly impacts where you show up online. This is going to be tied into your website and website performance. These things can be adjusted by website companies like Inception to make sure that your websites are compliant with Google so that your search engine website is optimized, you're going to increase in the rankings. So that's what SEO is. It just is focused on the search engine, making sure that your website, your business listings are following the correct standards so that you can be promoted to the top of the searches when patients do a keyword search like optometrist near me, best eye doctor, things of that nature. Going into on-page SEO, on-page SEO is going to directly impact the content that's on your website. So these are things like your content, relevant keywords. In terms of content quality, this is one of the most important ranking factors. Google wants to promote high quality relevant content. Most doctors are going to have a website, so Google wants to promote websites that have content that's tailored to your area. Nowadays, a lot of websites may have artificial intelligence in terms of content. They may have used AI, ChatGPT. Google really wants to see personalized content written by humans, talking about what services do you guys offer? What makes your practice unique? So you want to leverage this content to make sure that it's relevant to your practice in your area and not more so cookie cutter. Moving on from quality content, we can get into title tags, meta descriptions, and headers. Again, most people will say, hey, I don't even know what that is. What's a title tag? What's a meta description? What's a headers? What these are going to be crucial for helping search engines and users quickly understand what each page is about, which can improve your click-through rate. So I can show you guys a quick example of what a title tag is. It's really going to be helpful. So if you can see my screen here, this right here is going to be a title tag. What you want to have is keywords sprinkled throughout the title tags. What we have here is eye doctor, Vero Beach, Florida. This is telling the search engine, it's telling Google that, hey, this practice is an eye doctor. They're in Vero Beach, Florida. It also has schedule an appointment. This is going to be a call to action button for new patients who are looking for an optometrist. The meta description is going to be this description right underneath the title tag. This description, again, is going to have relevant keywords. It's going to say optometry in Vero Beach, Florida, so the location they practice in. It's going to talk about some of the key services that they offer. These things are going to signal first to Google that, hey, this practice does do these services. So if someone does look up optometrist in Vero Beach, it's going to be a lot more likely that they get promoted but also it's helpful for users as well, so they know exactly what the services that are being provided to them, and it's going to be a lot more likely that they actually click on this website. Going into the headers portion of it, the headers of the web page is just going to be a summary that we give Google talking about what content is on each page. It's going to be H1 through H6. H1 is going to be the most important, and then H6 is going to be the least important. This just gives a quick summary of Google, telling them what content's on the page, so it's super easy for them to scroll and understand the exact content that they can sift through. This makes it super easy for Google to understand, hey, this page is talking about eye doctor in Vero Beach. It's going to mention the services they offer, some insurances they take. This makes it super easy for Google to recommend and promote your website as well. So this will be the title tags, meta descriptions, and headers. Again, this is going to be mainly for Google to determine exactly what they can rank you for. But then also the meta descriptions and title tags help potential patients understand exactly the services that you guys provide as well. The next thing we'll talk about on-site SEO is going to be fast loading and mobile friendliness. Nowadays, 90% of searches are going to be done on a mobile device. I'm sure in your guys' day-to-day life, you guys are probably doing searches on your smartphone if you're not in the office or at work. I made a New Year's resolution this year to get off my phone. I've definitely been failing it recently just because you always have your phone on you. Super easy to go to Google, make a quick search. So Google has become a mobile-first platform because they understand that the majority of people, they're not doing a search on a laptop anymore. They're going to be using their mobile device. This is why Google wants to promote websites that are going to have a fast, mobile responsive website. So Google changed this indexing back in COVID in 2020 when people really started going mobile online. So that's when they became mobile first. I have a tool that Google uses as well that I can showcase. So this is going to be a tool that Google uses. It's called PageSpeed Insights. This is going to grade your website out of a score from 0 to 100. And this is something that Inception really focuses on to make sure that we're in this green range. As you can see, our websites, we're going to have a speed index of under 3 seconds. Most patients nowadays, when they go to a website, if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load, they're going to leave and go to the next option. So this is going to affect your bounce rate. You don't want people going to your website and then leaving because your website doesn't load fast enough. So this is one huge thing we emphasize, is making sure that, hey, one, it's easy for your website to load, but two, that it loads in a fast manner so that you're not missing out on potential patients. And again, this is something that Google is really focusing on to make sure that when someone does go on your website, it loads fast, it looks good for a mobile device. So that's one huge thing that we're focusing on at Inception, to make sure that your website's mobile friendly. Google's going to reward you points. It's going to increase your ranking, which will lead to more production for the practice as well. Next, I'll go over internal links for easy navigation. Internal links are just going to be links within your website that guide both users and search engines through your content. So when someone is going to your service page and they look at comprehensive eye exams, one of those services for eye exams might be a glaucoma test. Under glaucoma test, the word glaucoma will be internally linked. So if they click on that, it'll take them to a page talking about glaucoma. This makes it super easy for your readers and your patients to navigate your website, and it'll keep them on your website longer. It's also good for Google because it signals, hey, all this content's related. It's super navigatable. So this is a way to really ensure that Google knows that all your content's relevant, it's interconnected, it's not randomly placed. And then it's also super helpful for users as well, so that they can click from one article to the next in your website. The next thing we'll go over is structured data and schema for enhanced search results. What this is structured data gives search engines more context about your content, which can lead to special features in search results like star ratings or business details. What this means is Google talks in a different language than English. They talk in coding. What schema does is it puts special keywords in your coding that's going to make it super easy for Google to determine what services you offer, what your Google ranking is, what your reviews are. And this is going to allow for rich snippets that are going to help your potential customers click on your listings, but also it's going to help your ranking increase. I'll show an example of this later on and really get in depth to it. There's a cool tool that Google gives us, and we can actually analyze the schema in depth and show what each schema does, and how it's going to affect your actual listings online. So we can get into that a bit later on too, and I'll show you a specific example. The next slide we're going to transition over to is going to be offsite SEO. So that's going to be more so focused on things you can do that aren't directly attached to your website. So what offsite SEO is really going to be focused on is boosting authority and trust with external connections. So we want your website's reputation to be strong from the outside as well. We want to focus on actions outside your website that are going to build this credibility and reputation. One thing we can do is we can link your website to other credible websites. We want to link your website to trusted websites. This is going to signal to search engines that your content is valuable, and it's going to help improve your rankings. For example, these credible sources, you want them to be local to your area. Think about local sports organizations, local chamber of commerces, local chiropractic organizations. You want these websites that you're backlinking to be relevant to your content as well. If you're linking your optometry website to a bakery or a barbershop, it's not going to be very relevant, and this isn't going to help your ranking. When you have these other websites, you have your chamber of commerce, you have local sports teams, saying, hey, thank you, and they link your website name for your recognition, for your help. This is going to create more traffic to your site because people are going to click on that website, they're going to visit your website. But also it's going to show to Google that, hey, this website's being shown off by other websites that are valid, that have credibility. This is really going to help your reputation. What you want to do is you want to avoid backlinking your website to sources that aren't credible. One thing we see a lot with other SEO companies is they'll link your website to overseas websites, to spam websites. This is going to reduce credibility. This is called black hat SEO. So we don't want you just to pay for backlinks that are attaching your website to a random site that has nothing to do with optometry. This in turn is actually going to hurt your ranking and not build credibility. So we want this to happen organically. If there's a local newspaper who's shouting out local optometry practices, to get your website linked in that article is going to be super helpful. But we don't just want to pay for backlinks that aren't from credible websites. So that's what we focus on at inception, is helping you guys create these quality backlinks that are going to increase your authority and increase your ranking online. Another great method for offsite SEO is going to be social media and online platforms. Think about Instagram, Facebook, X. If you guys can do postings about your services and then link your website to those social media posts, it's going to first drive more traffic into your website. But also what it's going to do, it's going to signal to Google, hey, here's a social media post that's also backlinking your website. This is going to build even more credibility, and it's going to help with your brand visibility. The last main way to build offsite SEO is going to be within your business listings and directories. Local business listings are going to be things like Google My Business, Yelp, WebMD, things of that nature where you can get your business listed online. The main one is going to be Google. The way you can really increase your offsite SEO with Google My Business is getting a couple more reviews per month. It doesn't have to be 60, 70 new reviews per month. Just getting 5 to 6 new Google reviews per month is going to show that, hey, patients love your service. It signals to Google that this is an active business. People are coming to and from your business. They're getting services done. This is really going to help build that offsite credibility. Also on your Google My Business page, you can also post images. So maybe you guys have a new promotion. You guys got a new machine in the office, some new lenses or frames. You can post those images to your My Business listing. This is going to, again, add more credibility, add more content to Google. It's going to help you guys rank online as well. So that's going to be the offsite SEO. Moving on, I really want to talk about optimizing your site for engagement. This is focused on, we talked about the SEO you can do on-site, off-site to help increase in your ranking to make sure Google's promoting you. Now what we're talking about is once a patient visits your website, how can we make sure that they aren't just instantly leaving, that they're going to click on buttons, that they're going to request an appointment, that they're going to learn about your services, that they're going to want to meet the doctor and come in person. Engagement is going to be essential for SEO as well. So as you keep your patients on the website for longer, it's going to be a lot more likely that Google promotes your website because they say, hey, this website's useful. Patients are spending 5 minutes on it. Our research shows that patients don't spend 5 minutes on a website. We help out around 2,500 practices, and the data we've gathered over the 10 years we've been in business, it shows that most patients are going to click out of the website within 20 to 30 seconds. So we really want to make sure that we're giving them the information they need fast and that they don't have to go looking for it. We want to make it the essentials clear and easy to access right away. We want them to learn about the promotions you have. We want to make it easy for them to schedule an appointment online to learn about the doctor. We also want to showcase the patient experience with personalized content. We want to include images and videos of the office. We want to highlight, this is doctor talking to a patient. These are the machines we have in office. These are some of the frames and lenses we have. This personalized content is going to build trust and help visitors visualize themselves in your care. It's going to make it seem like, hey, this office is friendly. We can come in and we're going to get great service. When you have more of those generic template pictures on the website, it's not going to create that personalized content that's going to build trust. Since patients really only stay on a website for 20 to 30 seconds, we really want to have a clean and user-friendly design. We want this design to be clutter-free, an intuitive layout that makes it easy for users to find information. Simple, attractive designs are going to keep visitors on your website longer, and it's going to encourage them to explore. Imagine if you go on a website that right when you go on it, you get a pop-up and you have to exit out of it. And then a video pops up and you have to click out of that. It's just going to make you frustrated and it's not going to want you to engage and stay on the website. So we really want this to be clutter-free. We want it to be super easy for them to use, especially on a mobile device that's going to be a lot smaller than a computer screen. The next thing we want is clear, prominent calls to actions. So we want them to have those schedule an appointment buttons, those request an appointment buttons to follow them throughout the website. Since most patients are only going to stay on the website for a minute tops, we want to make sure that they don't forget why they went on the site. We want to constantly remind them to schedule an appointment, to contact the office. This way we can really make sure that we're converting on most of those leads. This is going to help increase production so you're not missing out on potential patients. And then lastly, we just want to position that key information higher on the page, right? We don't want them to go digging for those schedule an appointment buttons, for the meet the doctor, for the services you offer. We want to keep that relevant information at the top so that if they only stay on your website for 30 seconds, they have that relevant information, they have enough data for them to make a decision. Hopefully they call the office, that becomes a new appointment. So I have a live example too of a website and how we've designed it to really be optimized for these factors. So I can flip over to that as well. So this is going to be the practice we helped out in Vero Beach, Florida. You're going to see right when you go to the website, you're hit with call to action buttons. So request an appointment, call to schedule. If you scroll down further, you're going to see pictures of the doctors. Just right there, they have enough information, meet the team, request an appointment. So even if they only stayed on the website for 10 seconds, they were able to request an appointment, call the office, they scroll down one more, and then they can actually see the doctors in some personalized photos. As we scroll down, you're going to see we're going to have these call to action buttons follow them throughout, making sure that it's super easy for them to reach out to the office and schedule an appointment. That's the main goal of having a website, right? Is to drive new patient growth into the office. So we specifically design our websites at inception to make sure that they're conversion optimized and super easy to use. And then I'll even show you guys, if we go to the service pages as well, they're still going to have these call to action buttons right here, making sure that it's super easy for them to understand the office hours when they're open, giving them the relevant information they have everywhere they go. So it's just really going to help out with conversions. And then personalized content as well, making sure that the patients have relevant information if they do want to do extra research. So that will be everything in terms of optimizing your site for engagement, making sure that if a patient does go on your website, they're not just leaving the site, that you have a really great chance of actually converting that into a new patient and having them request an appointment. So next we have another poll question. So we went over on-site SEO. That's going to be optimizing your content, making sure that you have the correct headers and footers. We went over local SEO. That's going to be your business listing, making sure that you guys have Google reviews, that you're doing business postings. And then we just talked about offsite SEO as well, making sure that your website's linked to relevant information. What areas of SEO do you think would benefit your practice the most, or that you guys think you guys might need the most help in?
So it looks like it's pretty even split across all of the choices, although improving local visibility, so local SEO seems to be gaining a little bit of a lead here.
Awesome. So we can get more into the local SEO as well, as that's going to be our next topic here on the slide. So the next thing we're going to talk about is how you can stand out in searches. This goes back to the schema that I talked about with the on-page SEO earlier today. This is also going to help you guys
Really
stand
quick,
out.
Riley,
Yeah.
if you want to, your screen isn't sharing. If you want to just pop that back up quick, I think it X'd out for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let me do that.
Just before you get too into the next section here.
Yeah, thank you for that. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yep, we are back in business.
Awesome. So jumping right back into it, standing out in searches. This is going to go back to making sure that for those local searches, you guys are standing out, you're ranking at the top, and people are choosing to click on your listing. This is really going to focus on leveraging that schema markup that I briefly talked about on the on-page SEO portion. Again, schema markup is going to be a special code that's added to your website that helps search engines understand what's on each page. It acts like a translator between the website and search engines, making it easier for them to identify important information. So when you add the schema markup to an optometry website, it's going to tell your search engine about specific details that potential patients are looking for. For example, office location, pictures of the office, reviews, frequently asked questions, and then these things can actually pop up on your listing. So if we can, it's kind of hard to see on the screen, but if you see at the bottom hand of this search listing right here, the San Diego Optometry, you're going to see that they have a Meet the Optometrist link. If they click on this, it's going to take them to that direct page. They have a new patient center, eye care services, payment options. So these are going to be connected to your schema. We've coded specific information into the back end of your website so that when they do these relevant searches, Google is going to give you these snippets that have additional information. It's going to make it a lot more likely that patient clicks on your business listing because it's going to create an enhanced listing that improves credibility, makes them interested in, hey, what's this service? I want to learn about it. So another example of that too is if we go back to this website I have been showcasing, So if you just look up optometry in Vero Beach, Florida, you'll see that Vision Plus Vero is going to be the top ranking practice, but you'll also see on their search listing, they have a picture. So this is going to be due to the schema that when they put in this keyword of optometry in Vero Beach, we've signaled to Google that there's also a photo. So this is going to enhance the listing, making it a bit more personalized so that patients are more likely to go in and click on the website. What's really cool is Google gives us a tool that helps us analyze the schema of our websites. So if I click to this next tab here, what you're going to see here on the left side is going to be the coding of the website. So this is going to be the language that Google speaks in. On the right-hand side is what information they get from the coding. So what we do at inception is we are personalizing the code of your website to make sure that Google recognizes you as an optician, as an optometrist. So we're giving Google all this relevant information in the coding to make sure that they have all this information so they know what to rank you for. And then if it is a super specific search, they can even pop up additional information in that search listing. For example, we'll write descriptions in the coding so Google knows exactly what Vision Plus does for their patients. We also code in the hours that they're open. So imagine someone looks up optometrist open right now, optometrist open near me. Google has this relevant information in the coding. This is going to build credibility. Hey, they're referencing their hours of operation in their coding. It's also on their website. It's also on their business listing. This is going to help with authority and help you guys be ranked for those relevant searches. We also code in your geo coordinates. What this does is for a map view, which is more so local SEO, it makes it a lot more likely that you're going to show up in this map view right here. If Google knows exactly where your practice is located, if a patient is going to be within these geo coordinates, it's a lot more likely that Google is going to promote you for that search and you're going to be seen. So that's how schema really helps with the local SEO. Is it's first going to make your business listing more attractive for viewers to click on, but also it's going to make it more attractive for Google to promote you for these services because all this information is going to be found on the coding of the website too when they're doing their scans and they have their bots crawling. Again, a lot of this information should also be on the website, should be on your business listing. You want to be as redundant as possible with Google. So having it also being referred to on your actual coding in the language of your website is going to make it a lot more likely that Google does promote you for these relevant searches. So that's going to be how we can help you guys stand out in searches. So they click on your listing and then that Google actually recommends you at the very top of the listing. And then that's just another example of a schema that we've developed that we can actually have your website pop up as a frequently asked question. So if someone does ask one of these questions, when they click on the level, it'll be an answer from one of your websites. Again, this is going to drive more traffic into your practice. The next thing we're going to get into is just action steps and conversion tips. So I've gone over a lot of things today in terms of on-site SEO, off-site SEO, how to make sure your website's conversion optimized, how to really utilize schema to make sure that you're being promoted for certain keyword searches. These are going to be a few action steps and conversion tips that you guys can take at your practice to make sure that you're following some of these best practices. The first one is just going to be audit your website's content for relevance and quality. Again, content quality is going to be one of the top ranking factors. So you want to regularly review your pages to ensure that your content is informative, that it's up to date, and that it meets patients' needs. Best practices in terms of optometry are going to change every so often. So making sure you're updating your content so you can stay as the expert in Google's eyes is really going to help out with your rankings. And then also it just builds patient trust. Making sure that they can trust you and they can go into your office is going to make it a lot more likely that they request that appointment or that they call the office. The next thing is just going to be improved page load speed and mobile friendliness. Making sure that your website is loading under 3 seconds, that it is optimized for a mobile device. One thing you guys can do is utilize that Google PageSpeed tool that I showed you to make sure that your website is in that 90 to 100 range. The majority of practices I talk with are going to be in the 50 to 89 range. What this does is it's going to make it a lot more likely that Google promotes another high performing website over yours. So you want to leverage these tools to make sure that your website is high performing for a mobile device so that Google can promote your site, but also so patients are utilizing your site and aren't just clicking on the next option. We also want to optimize for patient engagement and CTAs. So go through your website and see if you have most of the relevant information at the very top of your website. That they're super easy to request an appointment, to contact the office, to learn about the doctor. Again, most patients, most people in general are going to stay on a website for 30 seconds. They want to gather all the relevant information and they want to make a decision from there. We're such a fast moving society that we want to make sure that all this information is super easy to use so they don't lose their train of thought and go to the next option. We want to make sure you guys are capitalizing on all the patients that go to your website. You want to create and implement a consistent internal linking strategy. So this is going to be linking the content within your website to other content in your website. If you do have a portion of your website that talks about eye exam, and maybe you guys do offer glaucoma tests for patients, well then internally link that glaucoma test to lead them to a page that teaches them about glaucoma. What are the risks? Why is it important to catch glaucoma before it accelerates? This is going to help create credibility with your patients, but also with Google. You guys can also leverage local SEO with Google business listings. So that's going to be your Google My Business page. The easiest way to do that is going to be to ask patients for reviews. Making sure that you guys get a couple of reviews per month is really going to build that credibility with Google. And also it signals to patients that are looking, if they see that your business hasn't gotten a review in 5 months, they're going to say, hey, are people going to this business? So you want to make sure that you stay on top of Google's relevancy by making sure that you're getting a couple reviews per month. And then also this helps ease patients. If they see that patients are going to your practice on a monthly, weekly basis and that they're having a great time and that they're getting great service, it's going to be a lot more likely that they choose your practice. And then it's important just to track and analyze your progress and improvements. Through your Google Analytics account, Google will give you analytics on your click-through rate, how much website visitors are going to your website, what is your bounce rate. So tracking analytics such as these things are really going to inform you guys and help you guys make decisions. And then lastly, these are all things that Inception helps you guys out with. I know in the office you guys are super busy. You're dealing with patients. You have a million things on a to-do list. So we have over 10 years of experience of helping out with these things, optimizing them for you, making sure that Google does promote your business so you guys can hit your production goals and you can hit your new patient growth goals as well. And then segueing into Revolution EHR, the one great thing is that your EHR should support online and patient-focused efforts. That's the great thing with Revolution, is that they're going to provide you with an EHR that offers key elements to enhance your website. They offer integrated appointment booking. So instead of someone just having to request an appointment and wait to hear back, they can actually directly book on your schedule, saving your office staff time and making sure that patient is booked with you guys. They're going to stop their search, right? They're not going to go to a bunch of other websites if they know, hey, I already have an appointment booked with this specific practice. Electronic intake forms, streamlining the patient experience, right? Instead of having them to fill out these intake forms in person, they can do them online. This is going to save the practice time. It's going to help the patient be ready for their visit. It's going to streamline and make sure that you guys aren't getting backed up on a schedule when people don't have their correct forms coming into the office. Review captured widgets. I know I talked about reviews a lot. You want to have a couple new reviews per month. Revolution has a great tool where they can send out review requests after patients leave the office. They can click on a link super easily. They can leave a review. It'll go directly to your Google My Business page. This is a great way to stay top of mind with your patients and with Google and capitalize on those happy patients. They also do online payments. Again, streamlining this payment process, making sure that, hey, if they can't pay in person, they can pay online as well. And then you just want your HR to scale with your new growth, right? You want an HR that's supporting your growth and aiding you in growth by using these digital avenues. And this just creates an ultra efficient patient flow. And then again, by utilizing these engagement opportunities, such as review requests, it's going to build lasting relationships as well. When someone leaves you a 5-star review, that creates loyalty. It reminds them of the great experience they have. So those are going to be great ways to make sure that patient keeps coming back for years and years.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Riley. Those were really helpful insights. And I think we can all agree that SEO doesn't have to be overwhelming, especially when you've got the right partner like Inception in your corner. As Riley mentioned, having a strong digital presence is really just one piece of the patient journey. And so once someone finds your practice, your EHR does play a huge role in delivering that smooth, modern experience that keeps them coming back. And that really is where, sort of Revolution EHR can come in and help your practice. So, to show how it supports both patient care and efficiency, I'm going to turn things over really quickly to Arlene Robinson. She is one of our Revolution EHR software experts, and she's just going to give us a really quick tour of the platform before we dive into the Q&A session. So, with that, Arlene, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Elise. Hi, everyone. My name's Arlene. I am an account executive here at Revolution EHR. And what I'd like to show you today is just a part of the software from check-in to check-out. And this is going to encompass the intake form and how efficient it actually is, where it ports directly from that form directly into the chart and the exam. So what you'll see here where my mouse is, this is the flow from check-in all the way to check-out. Now just keep in mind what I'm showing you today, this whole flow is fully customizable, right? So you could remove things from here, you could change the order of operation if you'd like to, but I'll just go over the standard layout here. So we have our patient walk in, I'm at the front desk, and I'm going to go ahead and do my check-in. We have the first tab here where this is the demographics, right? We have the name, address, all of that, the insurance details, and then here's our consent forms. Now, the thing with our intake is that the patient is going to fill this out either before they come into the office, even if it's a walk-in or perhaps they forgot to fill it out before coming in. You could use an iPad or a tablet and have them fill it out while they're in office. Once they fill it out and submit, all the demographics, that insurance, any type of consent forms that you want an electronic signature will all be ported directly in here. So my job at the front desk is just making sure this is all accurate, everything looks good. We'll transition right into the interview here. Now, the reason for visit, you can see here, all the basic intake questions for the eye conditions, eye concerns, vision concerns. We have all the history here, medications. All of this will be pre-filled by that intake form. It ports directly in here. So think about how much time that will save your staff where they don't have to go individually into each category and fill this stuff out manually. As we move down a little bit further here, you'll see this is, the doctor side, right, for the exams. The wonderful thing here about this page is that when you are getting set up, you'll see here, this is a comprehensive encounter. For each appointment type, what we're going to do is set you up for success here. So as soon as the doc opens this page, he or she has everything they need right on here. This is a fully customizable page, so you could scoot these things around to your liking. It's a simple drag and drop feature if you have a flow that you like to work off of. But the main point here is it's just a nice, clean one-pager. You have everything you need, and you can easily scroll right down. See down here, we have our optic nerve, fundus, we have the slit lamp, and any devices that you have in the office, autorefractors, OCT, visual fields, we'll be happy to link those up to Revolution. So that way the data will pull directly from the device and enter it right into my test fields here for my autorefraction. Same thing if we did any photos. If we took like a slit lamp photo, we have this little icon right here. You'd select this, it opens up a box. It will show you all of today's photos we've taken. It will also have your past photos. So it's really easy for you to go in there and do any comparing or markups that you need to. If I scroll back up here, next one we'll go here is our contact lens area. Super straightforward, right? We create our trial here, go ahead and create our RX. Same for your optical, but this here you could do a single or multiple, right? So if we're doing a reading, regular, maybe a backup, you could do it all at the same time right here. You can easily print off that RX if the patient would like to have a hard copy, but we also have a HIPAA compliant patient portal that's included in our subscription, where the system, once the doc finalizes this RX, it can automatically be uploaded directly to the patient's portal. So it's really easy for them to be able to access from home if needed. We'll just transition right here into the assessment and plan. Now, the cool thing here is that, all of your codes, today's codes for the findings, they're all generated by the system based off what doc has put into the exam. Right? So this will all generate here automatically for you. The plan portion, if I scoot down just a little bit here, you'll be able to see that I created care plan templates. We'll do the same for you. That way the system is just running as efficient as possible and doing this work for you, automatically attaching what I've assigned for this code. So as soon as this code was generated on the assessment, the system knows to automatically attach that education I've assigned for that code, as well as the recall for 1 year out that I've set for comprehensive encounters. The coding portion here, this is nice as well because what we have is a built-in auto coding wizard. What this does for you, it's similar to the assessment where it generated today's findings, but here it's going to generate all of the billing codes you need to bill for based off what doc has put in the tests. So it's kind of like a foolproof way, not leaving any billing codes out. On the far right, you have common services. You could think of this as like a favorites. You could really beef this up with the services you do day in and day out. So if there's anything in addition to what the system is telling me to bill for here on the left, I can simply add it right over and it will be combined so I can go ahead and invoice out. We have the checkout tasks here and just showcase quickly. This is that recall that I had in my care plan template. So what this is doing is it's attaching it to Brandon's chart. So when my automatic recalls go out, when the time comes via text and email, it's already there. The system has done this work for me and the recall will automatically be sent out. Billing here is we have, you could go ahead and create your invoices, collect your copay, and then final checkout here is where you can just go off and sign. Again, this here is a standard layout. We can totally customize this to the flow that you'd like to have. And if you have any questions, there's much more to the system that I'd love to show you. So if you have any questions on what we've covered today, or you want to dive a little bit deeper into the software, you can easily just drop a note right into the chat and I'd be happy to connect with you. Elise, I'll turn it back over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Arlene, for that great demo. It's easy to see how powerful your website and your EHR can be when they're working together. So everything from attracting new patients to keeping your operations running smoothly, it's probably the most important thing about running your practice. Before we jump into the Q&A, I want to let you all know about 2 special offers just for the attendees of today's session. So the first is a personalized SEO audit from the team over at Inception. They're offering it exclusively for today's attendees, and they're going to help you uncover exactly how you can improve your site's performance. And the second offer is exclusive to people who are interested in learning more about Revolution EHR. We're offering a $100 DoorDash gift card as our thank you for completing a demo of Rev over the next 14 days. So if either of those sound, like something you'd be interested, please go ahead and respond to the poll on your screen that I'm going to pop up right now. Or you can drop a quick note in the chat, either publicly or directly to the moderators, and we'll make sure to follow up with the next steps on both of those for you. So again, the poll should be published, so just go ahead and let us know if either of those are something you'd be interested in. And let's get started with a few of the questions that you guys have already sent in. If you haven't already and you do have questions, feel free to type them into the chat and we'll get through as many as we can. We have about 10 minutes left in today's session. So with that, let's go ahead and just dive right in. So our first question today is actually for Riley. And that question is, are there any good third-party tools to help measure my website performance?
Yeah, really great question. So the best two tools are honestly going to be tools that I showed you guys today. The first is going to be one called Google PageSpeed Insights. So super cool thing about this tool, it's actually a third-party tool that's developed by Google. So if I scroll down here on this tool, it'll say Google for developers. So this is coming directly from Google, who is making all these ranking factors. And all you do to get to that is you just type in Google PageSpeed Insights. It'll be the first one at the very top of Google. It'll be right here. And all you do is you take your website URL and you plug it into Google, and it'll give you that score for a mobile device. So this is going to be a super helpful tool to analyze your mobile performance. And then Google will also give you diagnostics with areas of improvements to make sure you can optimize some of those performance factors that maybe are making your website load slow. And then the next tool to check your schema and to see what type of information your code is giving Google it's called Schema, and this is another tool that's actually developed by Google. So if you just look up schema markup, it'll be right here, schema.org. And then you hit validate here, and you enter in your website URL, and then it'll give you information on what kind of data the coding is giving Google. So those would be the two tools that I would recommend utilizing to give you an assessment of your website and how it's performing.
Awesome. And this next question is also for you, Riley. Does Inception help fix my current website, or do you just build brand new ones?
Yeah, really great question. So at Inception, we help all our clients build a brand new website. The reason for this is we have around 15 to 20 different site designs that we're using that are compliant with Google standards for 2025. So we want to make sure that we're optimizing the page speed, that the website is formatted correctly for patients' experience for a mobile thing, that there's request and appointment buttons, that all the content's unique and tailored to their practice. So it is something where we would build them a brand new site. We spent a lot of money on our onboarding process recently. So usually we have our new sites live within 15 to 30 business days. And it takes only a handful of phone calls for the client with us to make sure we have all the relevant information. And then we're really doing all the heavy lifting to making sure that your site's aesthetic, it's beautiful, and also it's high performing.
Awesome. And then Arlene, this question is for you. Do booked website appointments automatically show up in Revolution EHR under the scheduling tab?
Great question. Yes, they do. So it's not like a request where you'd have to go in and manually put anything. Once they hit confirm and schedule that appointment, it will automatically populate all the patient information right on the calendar within Revolution. It will also pull in the insurance details. So that's super convenient. You can easily check that eligibility before they even walk through the door. What I do recommend if you're a current user, you know how you can go ahead and color code your appointment types? Maybe put that as a bold color, red or something that will stick out. So that way your staff knows, okay, I had an online booking. Now I can go in and check that insurance verification.
Awesome. And then another one for you, Arlene. Is there a way to manage optical inventory directly within Rev?
Yes, there is. So we do have, Rev is a true all-in-one. So literally everything you need to run a healthy business, inventory, your orders module. We also, within the inventory, we do have a full integration with Frames data. So we can literally just import all of that. And the nice thing too is that with the inventory, as soon as you're selling a product, the system is going to update to true totals automatically. So you guys don't have to do physical counts. And this is all tied into our reporting module. So you can easily go in and run those inventory reports, see what's making you the most money, what's aging. You could do min max, see what you're running low of, what you have too much of. And so if for the question there, if you'd like to learn more or even see it, we could do a live demo. I'll be happy to schedule something.
Fantastic. And then Riley, I have another question for you, and that is, does Inception work with multi-location practices?
Yep, we do work with multi-location practices, and then we have SEO strategies to make sure that each practice location is going to rank as well. So we work with a handful of multi-location practices.
Amazing. And then another attendee had a question about page speed insights. Is it a free to use program, and is it something that they can explore a little bit on their own, or is it a paid service?
Yeah, so it's totally free. If I just share my screen again, so you just look up PageSpeed Insights on Google, and it'll be a free tool that anyone can use. So PageSpeed Insights, and it'll pop up right here. So you don't need a subscription. It'll take you right to this page, and then you just enter in your website's URL, and it'll give you those analytics and performance scores. So totally free third-party tool that Google has made for website developers so they can track their website performance.
Awesome. And then we also had somebody who mentioned that they have had Yelp hold bad reviews for ransom before, basically saying if they upgrade to premium, they'll erase those reviews. Do you know of any alternatives to Yelp that are trusted in terms of like online reputation?
Yeah, so I would say the main one's going to be Google. Yelp is really big for restaurants, things of that nature, so you can check out their Yelp ratings. For healthcare, it's mainly going to be Google, people going to their Google My Business page and checking Google reviews. So Google is not going to hold your reviews for ransom or anything of that. So I would highly recommend Google. And again, most people, they're going to go on Google, they're going to look up Optometrist near me, and then they're going to look at your Google My Business listing. So definitely, I would say Google is going to be the best avenue just if you're focusing on reviews, because those are directly going to impact your ranking.
Awesome. And I think we've got time for a few more. We still have a couple minutes to go. Arlene, this attendee had a question about our contracts. Do we have monthly contract options, or do we only offer annual plans?
The great thing with Revolution is it's always been month-to-month subscription. So we don't lock any folks into any type of contracts. What I will say is even being month-to-month, we do have a 98% retention rate. So I think that really speaks volumes to a really well-built, efficient program, and we have superior customer support as well.
Great. And then we have Amy would like to know more about the checkout task and recall tool as well within Rev.
Sure. I think we could maybe schedule a demo for that one, just so we could dive a little bit deeper into that one. I can get that scheduled for us once we hop off this call.
Great. Amy, I'll go ahead and I'll send you a side note in just a second, and with the link to let us know that you're interested in the demo so you can take advantage of that $100 gift card option as well. And then Riley, we have another question. How do you improve local search results with Apple and Siri, like ranking with an Apple and Siri?
Yeah, so that is going to be really tied into your Google My Business page as well. In terms of, are they asking about Apple Maps and Siri searches? I'm assuming that's what they're talking about.
He's clarifying, so if you just give us 1 second. Yes, Apple Maps and Siri searches.
Yeah, so that's going to be tied to your Google Business page as well, because when you see Apple Maps, what's going to pop up is the reviews. So there's a few things you can do with your Google My Business page, making sure that you have a lot of reviews, that your address, your hours of operation are all correct as well. If you think about someone looking up optometrist near me on Siri, hey Siri, give me some optometrists that are open right now. You want to make sure that you have all that relevant information correct so that Google can actively look at it, and then that's going to get promoted on Apple Maps and Siri. So it really is tied into that Google My Business page, focusing on your address is correct, you have the correct hours of operation, reviews, and then also you can post images and pictures on your Google My Business page. So all of that content is really going to help get promoted for those searches on Apple and Siri.
Cool. And then a follow-up question was just Apple Maps doesn't use Google reviews, but they use Yelp reviews or appears to. Do you know if Siri searches Google?
Yeah, Siri, when she does her searches, they're going to be on Google. She does her searches on Google.
Great. And then I think we just have one more question that came through for Arlene, and that is, does Rev include a secure messaging system for like team communication within my office?
We do. So we have HIPAA compliant internal messaging right within our platform. It's located on the home page. You can easily, it's just kind of like texting within the system, and it's 100% secure and HIPAA compliant.
Fantastic. Well, we are right now at 12 o'clock on the dot, so I think let's go ahead and wrap up today's webinar. If you have any other questions that come up as you're sort of thinking about what we discussed today, feel free to send a follow-up message to us at marketing@revolutionehr.com, and we can get you over to one of our software experts like Arlene, or connect you with Riley to get those questions answered. A big thank you again, Riley and Arlene, for your time and expertise, and of course, thank you all for joining us. Be on the lookout for a follow-up email that will have the webinar recording, so you can review and take any actionable steps that you would like. And as always, if you have any other questions about Rev or want help getting connected with Inception, we're happy to help. So thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you next time.